Job chapter 8. Then Bildad the Shuhite replied, "How long will you say such things? Your words are a blustering wind. Does God pervert justice? Does the Almighty pervert what is right? When your children sinned against him, he gave them over to the penalty of their sin. But if you will seek God earnestly and plead with the Almighty, if you are pure and upright, even now he will rouse himself on your behalf and restore you to your prosperous state. Your beginnings will seem humble, so prosperous will your future be. Ask the former generation and find out what their ancestors learned. For we were born only yesterday and know nothing, and our days on earth are but a shadow. Will they not instruct you and tell you? Will they not bring forth words from their understanding? Can a papyrus grow tall where there is no marsh? Can reeds thrive without water? While still growing and uncut, they will wither more quickly than grass. Such is the destiny of all who forget God. So perishes the hope of the godless. What they trust in is fragile. What they rely on is a spider's web. They lean on the web, but it gives way. They cling to it, but it does not hold. They are like a well-watered plant in the sunshine, spreading its shoots over the garden. It entwines its roots around a pile of rocks and looks for a place among the stones. But when it is torn from its spot, that place disowns it and says, "I never saw you." Surely its life withers away, and from the soil other plants grow. Surely God does not reject one who is blameless or strengthen the hands of evildoers. He will yet fill your mouth with laughter and your lips with shouts of joy. Your enemies will be clothed in shame, and the tents of the wicked will be no more. The Lord bless the reading of his word. To God my mouth I speak the message. I pray that it be his message, not my message. That his will might be done, not mine. That he might receive glory and honor, not I. And all those with ears might hear the words of the Lord. Amen. Amen. All right, so this is, remember when we're reading the book of Job, we're reading what probably is the most ancient, the oldest scriptures in the Bible. The way the language is written and the issues that it deals with are so fundamental that it indicates a much older history to the text. Because Job is written trying to answer the question that everybody asks. Just ask any 2-year-old, why? I don't know why it is that at a certain developmental stage, kids just want to know why. They've gotten to a certain point where they sort of understand there are certain things, and they have labels for some things, and they know they don't start that way, right? Most kids start with mama or daddy or bottle or something. But they get to a certain point where they've sort of figured out some of the things in their sphere, and then they want to know, well, why is this blue? Or why does this do this thing? Or why? But Job is a little bit more adult than that. It's not just why, it's why is this happening to me? See, that's the question that we really care about. Why is this happening to me? We're trying to figure out how we can maximize our life, and we can make sense of things, and we can improve on things. And so we want to know why this is happening to me. Now, Job, if you don't remember, let me just give a quick recap. We're in chapter 8. In the earlier chapters, what we've seen happen with Job, he's prosperous, he has a lot of kids, he has a lot of animals, of wealth in the ancient world, and it goes away. There's raiders who come and take all his cows and his drovers, the people who are using the oxen. There's other raiders who come from the other direction take all the sheep and the flocks and all that. His kids are partying, having this festival in a house, and the wind comes and collapses and kills all his kids. And then he is afflicted with sickness and stuff. And the only thing that Job has left is his loving and kind wife, who says, maybe you should just curse God and die. Drop dead, buddy. That's all he's left with. All that, and these three friends who show up. And the three friends speak these words to him. And so for the rest of the book of Job, pretty much, it's these friends saying things to him and then him speaking back, responding to them. And what the story does for us in this sort of, in the form of a poem, is it allows a sort of an argument, as it were, as to trying to answer the question, why is this happening to me? It's laid out in this way, and so if you remember in math, doing proofs, in geometry, because of this, then this, and then this, and then this, and so that's sort of what you have here is you have the friends who lay out sort of some answers, but Job is coming back going, well, no, I'm not sure that holds. Well, have you thought about this? And at the end of the book, you get not Job's friends responding to him, but you get God himself responding to Job. Obviously, God's answers are a little bit better, but they're not any more satisfying. One of the things is Job ends the book sort of going, okay then. Because sometimes when the toddler asks you why, you're like, well, I can explain it to you, but you won't understand it. And so, well, why? Well, because you're a kiddo. And ultimately, that's where God is. But in here, we have Bildad, his buddy Bildad, who's answering this question and is talking to him. And so they come. Now, one of the things that we learn from this, this sort of case study in how not to do things. These friends come and they visit. He's suffering. He's lost his kids. He's lost his wealth. He's had this calamity happen to him, and they show up and they just start yappity. One of the things that the rabbinic tradition teaches from this is when you go to a house of suffering, be quiet. Don't say anything unless you ask. Until somebody asks you something. Until you speak, just be there. Because it's amazing how many people are uncomfortable with silence, particularly silence in the face of suffering. And so they try to fill it up with all sorts of, things, but usually end up saying something stupid. Just go and be there. There's nothing you can say that's going to make it all right. There's nothing you can say that's going to explain it away. But out of our insecurity and out of our, I obviously, with the fire department, we go to a lot of situations that are terrible. Because, people lose their houses and people lose lives and stuff. And it's always interesting to me because firefighters like to do stuff. We like to fix things. We like to, we like to break things. But we're breaking things for a purpose, right? We want to help. We want to do things. That's why we do it. And we get to these situations sometimes and there's nothing more that we can do. And so sometimes we just start talking and I just have to remind myself and I try to remind other folks. Just say, we've done everything we can and I'm sorry and we're here if you need anything else. But Bildad is trying to, he just is uncomfortable in this house of suffering. And so he's labeling and he's identifying, he's trying to solve the problems. Again, when we go to the house fire and it's burned down to the ground, the person doesn't really care. We figured it out. It was an electrical fire back here. We can figure that out later. Right now we're just in the house of suffering. But we want to control, we want to identify, we want to understand it. We want to show that, oh, somehow we conquered it. You know, we've seen some horrible violence this past week. We've seen evil manifest itself in Chicago, Fort Lauderdale, Jerusalem. And there's all sorts of folks who are trying to explain it and understand it, and you know, we had folks yesterday trying to make sense of sudden loss. How do you figure out? You know, one week you chat with somebody, next week they're gone. Oh well, undoubtedly, folks give the same answer that Bildad did. What's he say in verses 3? Does God pervert justice? Does the Almighty pervert what is right? When your children sinned against Him, He gave them over to the penalty of their sin. But if you will seek God earnestly and plead with the Almighty, if you are pure and upright, even now He will rouse Himself on your behalf and restore you to your prosperous state. Right? What does Bildad basically say there? God is just. Those who died deserved it somehow. And let this be a warning to you. That's basically what he said there, right? What do you hear people say? Everything happens for a reason. Let's look at mental health or physical health or something, and we need to change some laws or change some diets or change this thing, or everything happens for a reason. You know, look at the history of poverty and suffering and oppression, and we need to change society. That's how our culture responds to things, the same way that Bildad did. Remember, this is 4,000 years old, and we haven't gotten any better. Well, there's got to be some cause. Let's figure it out. It's the same thing as when we blame parents for the kids' misbehavior, right? Oh, well, that's their fault for, was it Geraldo, right? He used to have a show. I don't know if he still has a show, right? Everybody get on and they'd be talking about their terrible thing, and it's all my mom's fault. It's all my dad's fault. They discovered, scientists, doctors, medical folks have discovered that if a baby in utero, so in the mother's uterus, is in a household with stress, not drugs, not alcohol, just stress. Think about all those households that with a baby that's stressful, just perfectly happy, Ozzie and Harriet. A new baby causes stress, right? We were talking about the new mother, right? And babies in the hospital. I mean, a new mother is stressed out, let alone having something else on top of it. A baby who's in utero in a stressful household, it causes detrimental brain development to the kiddo because the mother's stress level is so high. Now, this is not let's just blame the mother again. But that's essentially what Bildad says. Verse 11, he says, can a papyrus grow tall where there is no marsh? Right? Can a reed thrive without water? You can't get a plant without what supports the plant. This is the ancient version of the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. One of the things Bildad forgets that we need to take away from this, the first thing is that there's no one is an island. No one lives unto themselves and has no connection. You see, if you can suffer from someone else's problems, then you have some level of ability to help them. If they have some influence on you when they do something terrible, well, then you have some influence on them and the ability to help them. A.J. Heschel, Abram Joshua Heschel, had a lovely line. He said, some are guilty, but all are responsible. You see, when we say, oh yeah, this person, this is the cause of this, well, yeah, but if it can come back on you, well, then somehow you've got a way to influence that. Now, this doesn't mean you can cure Neither am I. We can't fix everybody else. We can't heal everybody else. But we can help them. We can be alongside them and say, well, yeah, there's things going on in your life, but you know what? I can help you with that. We do need to remember, though, that we can't help someone who won't take the help. And that's a challenge. The only comfort in that, and I constantly say this to myself and other people, is, you know how you know you can't help somebody who doesn't want the help? God can't help somebody who doesn't want the help. Because if he could, he'd help he'd fix everybody's problems, there'd be no problems in the world, and be done. But there's not. He tells us what we should do. He tries and helps us along to do what we should do. But ultimately, if we're dead set against him, we're dead set against him. He gave Adam and Eve that lovely garden, said, here's the world, here's the things that you should do. I'm providing all this for you. Just don't do this. They did it. I probably would have eaten the apple a lot quicker. I wouldn't have listened to any snake. God said, don't do it. Well, I think maybe I'll do it. I've seen that phenomenon among my kids. I tell one of them not to do something, and before I can turn around, the other one's doing the exact same thing. I just told this one not to. Didn't need a snake. But we do have some, if somebody else can influence us, we have some influence back on them. If they can do something that somehow causes us pain, because, like I said, all of Job's affliction that he's, or the majority of what he's dealing with is actually stuff that has happened to somebody else. I mean, you think Job had a bad day. What about his drovers? The guys who are driving the oxen, that the Chaldeans come and murder everybody and kill all the oxen and take them off. They had a worse day. Job had a bad day, but what about his kids? Job had a bad day, but what about his shepherds who, different raiders come and collect them and take them all away? He's suffering because somebody else has had an affliction laid upon him. Well, if there's that connection that an affliction to them afflicts us, well then somehow we've got we've got some influence back on them. That's the first thing we can take away from this. Bildad would like to sort of say, well, they're on their own sort of thing, and use this as a life lesson, a warning. Now, I want to point out that a lot of what Bildad says is basically repeated in the Psalms. If we follow you, you will not let our foot slip. Right? That's what Jesus is praying in the wilderness. God will not let your foot slip. I put my trust in you. He's right, but he's wrong in his initial premise. This us to the second thing that we need to take away from this text and meditate on when we're looking at other people's sufferings and other people's things, particularly as it relates back to us, is only I know what I deserve. You don't know what anybody else deserves. I don't know what anybody else deserves. I know what I deserve. My dad has a favorite line about punish your child every day. You may not know what it's for, but they will. Thanks. You know what this is for? Yes, sir. I'm glad you like that, Isabel. Right? You and I know what we deserve. We know how amazing God's grace has been, and we didn't get everything we deserve. We can't be looking at somebody else and going, oh yeah, because of this, that, and the other thing, that's why you're suffering. No, not our place. Not our job. What's the line? Not my monkeys, not my circus. Other people's lives are not our monkeys. God's monkeys. Let him deal with them. Don't go around saying, "Oh, they're bringing it on themselves." That may be, but not our job. I know what I deserve. I know what fits my life and how God has, my sins size fits all. Well, that may be, but it only matters if it fits me or not. One size fits me. One size fits you. I'm not going to switch. Here's a third thing to remember from Job, and it's one of these things that we go, okay, we have to be reminded of time and time again. It's that this world is filled with suffering beyond our understanding or our control. Well, thanks, Pastor Ray. That was cheery. It's true. Many times it takes a long time to get it to sink in. We keep making Bildad's mistake. We keep trying to analyze the situation. Oh, well, and we keep finding that our ability to understand or our ability to influence is limited. And no matter how many right things we manage to check off, there's always that one, whoops. And so, because of that, because this world is filled with suffering beyond our understanding or control, we must trust in God's goodness. Again, Bildad is only sort of wrong. He's also right when he says, does God pervert justice? No, he doesn't. God is good all the time, even though sometimes it doesn't quite make sense to me. Just trust him. Because if he isn't good, well, then you might as well trust in that, and nothing matters anyway, and so you'll just get more. No, we trust that he's good. What he says is, how many of you as parents, when your son asks you for bread, will hand him a rock, or asks you for a drink and you get a serpent? That's what he says, right? If you're parents and you're not perfect parents, I always love those foster care ads about you don't have to be a perfect parent. That time you donated your daughter's a private diary to the public library. How many of you, if you're good parents, but not perfect parents, can know how to handle a kiddo and do right by him? How much more so can your heavenly Father, your perfect Father, do a good job by you? Even though sometimes it seems unfair, you're being sent to your room, or being punished for this thing or that thing. You're suffering. The other way we can get our heads around the fact that this world is filled with so much suffering and pain that we don't understand and can't control is to remember that we don't go through it alone. It's not like God is some puppet master up in heaven pulling strings and running this, he's looking at the ant colony. Earthquake! He's not looking down from heaven on us, completely removed from the way the world works. He comes to earth, as we celebrated Christmas and Epiphany. He comes to earth and lives amongst us. He says, I'm going to take on human flesh. I'm going to be incarnate alongside of my creations. I'm going to live with the same thing. You know what veggie loaf is? Veggie loaf is what they use in the prisons when you throw your food at the guards and such. They still have to feed you. So it's this thing made up of lima beans and sprouts. And it's food. It's nutritious. But nobody likes veggie loaf. Right? God says, I'll eat the veggie loaf alongside you. I'm not going to make one thing for punishment for you guys, and I'll have my lobster and steak and bacon over here. God says, no, I'll eat the same food that you're eating. I'm going to live alongside you. I'm going to suffer the same things that you suffer. In fact, I'm going to suffer them, even though I don't deserve any of them. I'm going to take the punishment alongside you, even though I haven't done anything to deserve it. See, when we face this world that is suffering beyond our understanding and control, when we face these challenges like Job faced, I was was talking with somebody and I pointed out, again, how amazing so many of you are in your testimonies of faith that God has brought you through things. There's a lot of you who are like Job, who buried children. There's a lot of you who have beaten things or survived things that should have destroyed you and put you in a fetal position someplace for the rest of your life going doo-doo-doo-doo. And you're up and functioning. You may walk with a limp, spiritually speaking, or physically speaking, but you're walking around. You're talking. One of the things when we face this world of incredible pain and challenge is to know that we do not go through it alone. That Jesus is alongside us. And so when we are going to that house of suffering, when we see someone else who's reliving the story of Job in their own way, rather than try and explain it away, rather than try and analyze it and label it and figure all these things out, what we can do is go alongside them like Jesus and be there. You know, as a theologian, I'm not always thrilled with in the garden. Any walks with me? It's not the most, it's not like the We Three Kings. I love that, with the myrrh and the, God and King and sacrifice. I mean, that's pretty cool. But you know what? That presence of Jesus in our life gets us through an awful lot more than the highfalutin language of figuring out the wonders of how many angels can dance on a feather pin. Just being alongside. Think about those times when you've been in difficult situations and someone you loved and who you knew loved you was there. Made it all right. Didn't make it good. Didn't make it so you understood it. Didn't make it so you figured everything out, but it just helped you through. That's what Jesus does for us, and that's what we can do for someone else.